Welcome back to Breakfast Central, and it's time for us to look at the newspaper front pages. And join us this morning is the publisher of the niche newspaper, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi. Thank you for joining us on Breakfast Central as always.
Bring out the pleasure is mine.
Let's just leave it at you see me today, right?
Okay.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's get started. We have several papers to get through, and we'll kick off right now with The Punch. The headline on the front page of The Punch: Daura kinsmen, associates reflect on Buhari's final months. Several riders coming in from their state burial begins in Abuja today. Interment to follow in Katsina. I was hospitalized in same London facility as Buhari, Abdulsalami. Jonathan visits Aisha in London as Amosun Lawal. Others arrive Daura. Tinubu appoints Akume Ribadu, others to burial committee. FG delegation visits Aisha, Maman, Daura, and Abdulsalami in London. On the top of The Punch, we also have soldiers bar traditionalists from Awujale's Muslim funeral. Oshibajo governors Oshoba Dangote graced Awujale's burial. And we also have, of course, already some permutations as to who is going to sit on the throne as the new Awujale. Right beside the mast, we have Natasha fires back at Akpabio over reinstatement challenge. And this comes, I think, about a week after a judge said that her suspension was illegal and that she should return immediately to the Senate. And just a few more on the front page of The Punch. We have Naira rebounds to 4-month high, trades at 1,518 Naira. Ogun workers begin strike over 82 billion Naira pension arrears. And 2027, Adeleke attacks Aregbesola over plan to oust governor. Very hectic and very busy front page of The Punch coming there.
Let's take your reactions. I guess it's the first newspaper review since the passing of the late President Muhammadu Buhari. How would you assess his legacy?
Well, let me first of all express my condolences, of course, to the family, the immediate family, people of Daura, and of course, Nigerians. And whether we like it or not, Muhammadu Buhari was a president of this country, an elected president for 8 years, and of course was also a military head of state for 20 months. As a soldier, which was his first profession, he was an accomplished soldier who incidentally rose to be the head of state and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As a politician also, I would say he was also accomplished because, of course, having been elected president in 2015 and re-elected in 2019 and successfully served out 2 terms. So this is a man, perhaps apart from General Olusegun Obasanjo, nobody has superintended over the affairs of this nation as long as Buhari did. So to that extent,
he has a place in history.
He has a place in history, and of course I'm not surprised that the federal government is also giving him
a state burial.
A state burial. It is something that is due to him because of the positions he has occupied. But having said that, and I've also expressed my condolences, the other side of the coin is what are his legacies? It's one thing to occupy the positions he occupied, but it's another thing altogether. What are we going to remember Muhammadu Buhari for? And that is where it gets a little tricky. I hear a lot of people who say it is un-African to talk ill of the dead. But I also think it is unethical to lie about the dead. And lying about the dead is not only when you don't say good things, But when you say what the person is not, wherever Muhammadu Buhari is today, if he is seeing what is being said about him, and I think the man might be pitching himself to ask, are these people really talking about me? Because all the things I am reading these days, a patriot who united Nigeria, who took Nigeria to greatest heights, blah, 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 blah. Are they really talking about former President Muhammadu Buhari, or are they talking about another person altogether? In any case,
I guess it depends on who's penning this.
No, but look, this man left office. We're not talking about Buhari of the military era that you can say is well over 30-something years ago. He left office, he was overthrown on
40 years.
August 25th, 1985. So 40 years ago. We're talking about a man who left office barely 2 years ago. So it is recent history. We are living with the impact of
his decisions.
The decisions he took, the actions and inactions of Muhammadu Buhari in office. So this idea of saying that it depends on who is now looking at it, we are all looking at it. We are all living witnesses.
Yeah, but if you look, the political class, it's almost like a copy and paste message that is coming from them. And then when you do a vox pop of ordinary Nigerians,
they're angry.
Yeah, they're very angry.
Yes, but even the political class, they are living a lie. See, something is instructive. Aisha Buhari, Buhari's widow, said Buhari told her, to apologize to Nigerians. Look, something must be going on in the man's mind for him to have left that instruction before he died. The truth of the matter is that all the fault lines that have already been there were
exacerbated
by the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari. And look, is it not ironic? It's a shame that Buhari, after 8 years in office as the president, died in
a London hospital.
Even if for no other thing, that says a lot about the so-called legacies. And don't forget, it is also a shame. You know, when General Abdul Salami Abubakar says
I was in the same hospital,
they were admitted in the same hospital, Mamandara, Buhari's nephew, is also in London in a hospital. These are people who have or had all it takes to build enlightened self-interest. Should have told anybody. For somebody of Muhammad Buhari's caliber that had an existing precondition health condition before he became president, the least he could have done is to have a world-class facility where his health challenges could be attended to. Now we are waiting. We sent Vice President to go and escort the body back home. Benga, have you seen any other country, apart from all these banana republics that litter the landscape of Africa? Nelson Mandela, for crying out loud, died in Johannesburg. Former president of Ghana, Professor, what is his name now?
John Atta Mills.
Atta Mills died in Accra. And Kenneth Kaunda died in Zambia.
Jerry Rawlings died in Ghana.
Jerry Rawlings died in Ghana. There is, look, what these people don't understand, and I've always argued this, anybody who wants to know my opinion about Buhari, I've written and I have said a lot why he was alive. So there's nothing I'm saying today that is new. Mm-hmm. Buhari left Nigeria in a far worse place than he met it in 2015. And that is not a legacy that anybody should be celebrating.
I guess it would depend on the matrix you're using to measure. Because if you look at security, they would argue that under former President Jonathan, Boko Haram held territories. I mean, they hoisted the flags in about 14 local governments. And by the time the Buhari, you look at places like Bama, there was the entire town evacuated. But by the time Buhari handed over to President Tinubu, they didn't hold territory that much. Even though they didn't hold territory in the sense of hoisting their flag.
Before Buhari became president in 2015, because these are places when, at least when the leader of Boko Haram was killed. In fact, I was in Maiduguri for about 2 weeks after his death, and I interviewed everybody in Borno State, from the governor then, sheriff, to almost everybody. I interviewed the traditional ruler, Shehu of Borno. So I did. But when Buhari came into office in 2015, this insecurity was almost located in the northeast. By the time he left office, the whole of Nigeria,
Northwest, it's North Central,
the whole of Nigeria, including southeast, including southwest, people were no longer going to their farms in southwest. So anybody who is talking about fighting insecurity, how? Did he even diminish Boko Haram per se? Are they not still in office today? What about the divisions that he created? Buhari on live TV called a significant portion of this country a dot in the cycle. He was the person who went abroad to say 97% voted for him and 5%. I don't know where he got that calculation from. 95 plus 5%, of course, is not 100%. But the NSAS.
We talked about it when we had Femi Adesina. We can talk about NSAS, the Twitter ban. We talk about the cashless policy in 2023, right before the elections. The Sudan, well, Femi Adesina spoke to the Jibril from Sudan rumors, but there's basically a litany, a laundry list of things, depending on who you ask. And looking at some of the economic indicators from his time, inflation steadily grew. We had 2 recessions under the former president. We also had a situation in which government spending started to increase. And now, of course, we know how government spending is as well with loans and all of that. At the end of the day, Ikechukwu, it is a mixed bag. It is what it is. People experience his policies, the policies of the decisions and the policy decisions of the president, I beg your pardon, the former and late President Muhammadu Buhari, impacted Nigerians in a different way. And it is what it is. That's why reactions are as mixed as they are.
They would also say the man has passed and he's not here to defend himself.
He can't undo anything that's done.
What lessons can we learn from this?
The lessons. But then, let me first of all address the issue of the man is gone, therefore. No. After all, till tomorrow, people are talking about Sani Abacha. I think it smacks of hypocrisy for the same people who demonize Sani Abacha, for instance, to say, no, don't speak ill of the dead. Even as Christians, till tomorrow, there are characters in the Bible that you don't eulogize. You talk about Judas, he betrayed Jesus Christ. You talk about Jezebel. So, what you do here, and that takes me to the lesson, that those who are in office now should learn a lesson. That, look, this thing does not last forever.
Forever, yes. Power is transient.
What does last forever are the things.
For your legacies.
You do, the legacies you leave behind. Today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is there. If I were him, what will concern me most, how will people remember me tomorrow, particularly when I am no longer in a position
of power.
But these guys get in there and they forget that there is a tomorrow. All of us will die eventually.
And be 6 feet. That's all the space will occupy.
Nobody is going to leave this place alive.
Resurrect now.
Well, even if you resurrect now.
What's it when you are sent to heaven?
Yes.
On the last day.
When the trumpet calls. My biggest fear is one day I wake up and I don't realize the trumpet has called. I'm left with the rest of these people.
Until that day comes. But the reality is that nobody is going to leave this earth alive.
Yes.
All of us are going to die. What will matter after that are the legacies you're going to leave now behind. Today we're talking about Muhammadu Buhari. Look, mixed bag, no mixed bag. Buhari came into office and said he was going to be judged on 3 parameters. Number 1, economy. Number 2, security. And fighting corruption.
Okay, yes. Corruption, yes.
On those 3 fronts, the man failed. In the area of economy, even his successors, who are still members of the same political party, Tinubu continues telling us up to tomorrow that he inherited an economy that was dead, literally.
From his same party member.
The same issue on insecurity. And then when we talk about the corruption, look, there are people who say Buhari as a person was not corrupt. Maybe. But again...
When you allow corruption around you...
Exactly. When you run a government that has been adjudged as arguably one of the most corrupt, at least in this 4th republic, then what are you talking about? Here we have the humanitarian ministry. We know all that took place there. Here we had a regime where Minister of Aviation went to Ethiopia.
Borrowed a plane. It,
and came here and said he was launching a Nigeria. Today he's still standing trial.
He's part of the opposition and the coalition now.
And everywhere you looked at under Muhammadu Buhari, it was people doing their own things, amassing wealth.
The CBN governor.
The CBN governor is still standing trial today. These guys were doing ways and means, printing money.
NNPC.
And don't forget, Muhammadu Buhari was the Minister of Petroleum. And we had an NNPC that pumped, I think Dangote told us the other day that it was $18 billion into turning around and maintaining
of our refineries.
None of them is working till today.
And they're telling us that they may not work.
And they're not telling us that they may not work. Then where did the $18 billion go to? So let us not talk about...
EFCC has summoned for questioning the CFO under Melekari. So he will probably explain where the $18 billion is. And what
but not summon Melekari himself. Ikechukwu, let's hold on, because at the end of the day, this is really what's going to be on the front page of the majority of newspapers, and we've only taken the punch. But I do like what Professor Killer has said, is that Buhari is a promise unkept for many Nigerians. He came in on such public sentiment and public goodwill, and people were willing to take so much for him to get the job done, but it was a promise unkept for many Nigerians. Let's go to the next newspaper we have. There's the Daily Trust coming our way. If we can get that up now, let's take a look at the Daily Trust this morning and see what they have. Again, at the front page, Jara sets for Buhari's burial as Nigeria mourns. We also have how Lagos LG poll was won and lost. 4 killed, many injured in Kano building collapse. Succession move begins after Awojale's burial. Then we also have residents flee as bandits attack Niger communities, kill 6, abduct 20. Ikechukwu, let's look at how Lagos LG poll was won and lost. We covered that extensively on Saturday. The truth of the matter is people did not come out. There are in some polling units 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a reporter sharing some of the stories that were there as part of the polls. But even if we didn't come out, yes, somebody has been adjudged as the winner. Did people not come out because they thought it was a foregone conclusion, or they didn't come out just because they were not interested? How do you analyze what happened on Saturday?
Both. People didn't come out because they thought it was the point in coming out to vote. The bigger implication, which for me is even more fundamental, is that this signposts what is going to happen in 2027. The truth of the matter is a lot of people are losing confidence in our electoral processes because they don't believe that it can give us free and fair elections. So why bother yourself going out there to queue when ab initio you know that the results are not going to count? And again, look, election is a process. The voting perhaps is the last stage. There is what is called primary election, where the candidates of the political parties emerge, those who are going to carry the flag of the different political parties. Now, when even in the process of bringing out those who are going to contest, all of them are imposed.
So there's no internal democracy, as they say.
Not as they say, that's the reality. So when people are imposed, then why do you go there and vote? Going out there and voting means that you are also legitimizing an illegal process that is not, at the end of the day. Look, grassroots, local government election is a grassroots thing. Yes. Which ought to draw out people more, because these are people you know, councillors, chairmen, that people stayed away in their homes and left them playing football on the road, playing football, and left them to do their things. If we are a country given to introspection, we should be worried. We should be worried. We should be asking where. But of course, you see, all of them ululating. The Lagos State governor said it is free, fair, and all that. The LASEC chairperson, as expected, said it is the best thing that has happened since sliced bread. And you ask yourself, because when people are telling you be hopeful, it's going to get better, elections continue getting worse in Nigeria rather than getting
but there's better. There's a bill, there's a silver lining somewhere. There's a bill in the House of Representatives now that has passed its second reading, and maybe it's as a result of this, because we've seen a pattern. If PDP states there's a clean sweep, in Labour Party states there's a clean sweep of local government elections. So they think, that this is just a farce. Now, the National Assembly is proposing a separate independent electoral commission away from INEC to deal with local government elections pan-Nigeria.
How much money do we have as a country?
Across the country. To maybe give it a real level of independence, a facelift, instead of leaving it to state electoral commissions.
Benga, we all live a lie in this country. And we know what
we can't just leave it like this. At least they're trying to do something.
2027 is coming.
We all know what the issues are. Before 2023 elections, there was an amendment to the Electoral Act. Before 2029, there was also an amendment which Buhari unfortunately refused to sign because he was going to be a participant in that election. Even the one that the Electoral Act of 2022, to what extent were they all the articles there implemented? Here was chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who came on air to tell us that, look, that the IRF and the electronic transmission of votes is a game changer. Is the game changer. That is going to be real time and that Nigerians will be saying it. At the end of the day, what happened? There was a glitch. And
then he came back and said, just because it's there doesn't mean that INEC reserves the right to use it as they will. So I don't want to be that person, but if we're seeing patterns from 2019, 2023, local government elections, off-cycle state elections, these off-cycle elections have been telling us a lot. And people are sitting at home. What do we expect to make difference between now and 2027? Because whether you like it or not, even if it's one person that votes, and that person votes in this direction, that vote is recorded for that person. Someone must be declared winner.
Yes.
I have said in my column that I, Ikechukwu Amaechi, will never go near any
voting
Napoleon booth
until you see
again in this country, because all these shenanigans can't.
But when someone like you says this, what do we expect to hear from the we're not average Nigerians, Ikechukwu. We're not. So when someone like you says this, what do we expect to hear from average Nigerians? What do we expect their body language towards elections and voting and even governance to be? Because elections are just the smallest part of democracy. After you elect, you hold accountable. After you elect, you monitor. After you elect, you engage.
Tolu, there is no need going out there, wasting your time under the elements and casting a ballot that won't count.
Are you hopeful, just before we wrap up, because we're out of time, that we could see some sort of reforms before 2027, in the little time we have left?
It is not whether I am hopeful or it's not whether there will be reforms. It is the implementation of those reforms. Where you have an election where people are disenfranchised because of who you are, because of where you come from, then what manner of democracy is that? And it is not getting any better, it is getting worse. So,
a sad way to end today's show, but it's a reality check and a reflection. Peter, reflection on the state of matters in the country. Thank you so much, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, as always, for joining us on the newspaper front pages.